Scrappin with Sheri, and welcome to 2024. I'm excited that you've been along with us on this journey for the past almost 1 year. We have around 900 followers right now, and we are so excited to reach that 1,000 mark, hopefully before the end of January, so we can start doing some live videos, some live classes with you. That's what our goal is for 2024. Now, I like to come up with kind of a phrase or whatever for the new year, and this year my phrase is do more in 24. So I would encourage you to do the same. When you see ideas that you like, try them. Don't just watch the videos and then think, oh, yeah, that's good, whatever. Try some of the ideas that you see. Try making some new pages. Try some new techniques. Try some different papers than you've ever tried before. You're going to see a video today that will be a great title page if you're getting ready to start a new album for the new year. And I'm going to be using some colors that I don't typically use very often. So I'm going to do more in 24. Maybe I should say try more in 24. So I hope you'll come along with me on this journey for the next year. We'll continue in our sketchbook. We'll continue showing some new techniques, some new ideas, and just have fun putting our pictures on scrapbook pages so we can preserve those memories. Until I see you next time, happy scrapping. So here we go, y'all. We are continuing on in our sketchbook series, the 101 Scrapbooking Ideas and Sketches, and we're on page 24. And this page to me stood out as a fantastic title page for a new album. And I'm always starting a new year with a new album, so I need a title page. Now, strangely enough, when I first saw this, I also decided it would be a great title page for my Christmas album. So I used some of my older Christmas papers along with some newer Christmas papers. I used some embellishments that I had, and I made this into a title page for my Christmas album. And on my wish list, I just put some of the things that we did that I had hoped to do during the Christmas season. So we'll post a picture of this, but let's create one together using This Life. This is the very newest paper that just came out. And y'all, I actually got picked randomly to win this collection in advance of its release. So I got this a few days ago, and it didn't even become available to purchase until January 2nd. So I was excited to get in advance to be able to play with it. This Life is a wonderful collection if you like bright colors. Now, if you watch many of my videos, I typically don't do a ton of really bright colors. So this is stepping outside my comfort zone a little bit. And, you know, I'm trying more in 24. So this is my first attempt at trying more in 24. So let's see what we've got to work with here and get this page laid out. Now, I don't know about you, but we do typically celebrate New Year's Day. And sometimes I just collect memes and things to put on my title page. Sometimes I put pictures from our celebration. But we'll see how this one plays out. But I did choose a couple of these words from the This Life word pack. It's got some really great words in it, and all the colors obviously coordinate. But I chose Everyday Life and Picture Perfect, so I'm going to lay those aside. I also was looking at all of these different stickers because there are some really cute stickers. And if you look at them, it's interesting to me because some are kind of thematic. Like these look fall-y. This is fall-y. We've got a winter. We've got raindrops that kind of make me think of spring. We've got coffee cups, different things like that. So this paper pack in itself could go all the way through the year with different emojis, I guess, different emoticons. So I think this would make a really great title page in a different way. And I may show you that if I have time at some point over the next couple of months. But to do this sketch, what I was looking at is it calls for us to make little circles. And I thought this paper already has circles on it. So how perfect would it be to make my circles out of these colors and have those along there? You've got to have a background page, but not much of it shows. You need stripes here, and if you do the measurements, as I did the other day, 2 1/4 here, 2 1/4 here, then you've got a 1 inch, a 6 inch photo, a 1 inch, and a 3/4 inch. That is more than 12 inches tall. So what I did was go ahead and do all of my designs from the top into the center, and then I cut my pictures down to fit the space I had left. I think that's very interesting that we've got all these measurements and they add up to more than 12 inches. But let's go ahead and do some cutting and get this page started. Now, I am going to be building on the sheet that comes out of the This Life paper pack, because I'm going to need to put all these different stripes on something, and I don't want to use a different paper for every single thing. Like, this background paper is great, this background paper is great, so I want to be sure that I can use some of those as some of these different stripes. So let's bring our 12-inch trimmer in. And for me, I love this right here. I think this is so pretty, and I want it to be kind of showy. So I'm going to use it for the 2 1/4 on the top and the bottom. So I'm just sliding this into my 12-inch trimmer, and I'm going to put this at 2 1/4 and cut, and 2 1/4. Now, this is a pretty generic pattern, I guess. It's got a lot of biggers, smallers, different sizes, but you know, if there were certain parts of it you really wanted to showcase, you could turn this different ways to make it work for you. And then my blue is going to be the center part of this page. So I've got my top and bottom, the 2 1/4 and 2 1/4. And then we also need a little strip here that's a 1 inch. Here, there's a 3/4 inch and a 1 inch. And I think for me, I'm going to leave out the 3/4, and I'm just going to do a 1 and a 1 top and bottom. So I'm just going to slide this paper into the 1 inch. And I'm looking at this. Yeah, I'll just do it this way, because I'm going to use the back side of this as my little 1 inch strip anyway. So I'm going to do a 1 inch there and a 1 inch there. Now, all I'm leaving out is that 3/4 inch strip right here. And I told you already, the design is too big for a 12-inch page, so this is going to work well for me. So if we flip that over, we've got a 1 inch here, a 1 inch here. It's already cute, isn't it? And then the last major design thing to do is to do these circles along here. Now, it tells you it's a 1 1/2 inch circle. It's the inside of the smallest custom cutting system pattern with the red blade. But if you've been around a while, you may also have this old circle cutter, circle maker, and this is the 1 1/2 inch size. Now, what I wanted to do was to cut these circles out. So mine's going to be a little bit different, and I'll show you why. I want to use one of these to cut these circles, but if I line it up, you can see that this one is a little bit too large. It's going to leave me a white background around my circle. If I go with this one, it's going to give me the right size circle to go on there. So I'm turning it upside down so I can see where I'm cutting. But I'm going to cut my circles out of all of these different colors rather than just alternating 2 colors like they did. Because these are a little smaller, I'm probably going to need more than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 circles. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut down this row. And I'm pressing this on the back with my hand. Now, I know a lot of you have told me that you have hand issues. And you can line this up and kind of hold it in place with your arm and then turn it upside down and punch it if that's easier for you. There are ways to get around that even when you have problems with your hand strength. You see, I did slide it just a touch, but it's all right. We'll fix it. And then one more here. And maybe just one more. All right. So I'm just going to cut that off to even up my scrap before I put it back in my paper bag. It's just easier to me to do that now than to wait until later. Now I am going to start uppermost. And remember, I did the pattern as the largest strip for the top and bottom. I didn't want to do it in the center because that's just really kind of busy to put pictures on. I felt like it might be a little bit too much. I'm just trying to line up my corners. The older I get, the worse my eyes get, so it's getting harder for me to do this from a distance like I used to. Now, when I put this in the center, remember we cut this straight off, so the blue takes up the whole center right now, but we're going to overlap those greens on there a little bit. Okay. I think the green just pulls in some nice color here. And this is all from this bright collection, so lots of brights going on. Now, look at our space here. I wouldn't really want to cover all of that up with a 4x6 picture. I would probably make my pictures a little bit smaller. And when we get to actually doing the photographs, we'll see where we are. Now, because this is a lot brighter color than I typically would use, it's really changing my thought processes as to what pictures I'll use on this page. Now, because it is going to be the start of my 2024 album, obviously it's going to be something New Year's-y. And normally I just start with some pictures of our family at our New Year's Day lunch. But we typically don't wear this bright of colors. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this is going to play out. Now, these circles are going to be smaller than those initially, and they are overlapping the green on top and our pattern there. And I'm just going to kind of lay these out, see what I like the look of, what I need to change. And you can see, boy, I'm going to need every single one of these little circles. There's my white showing here that I don't really like. And then let's put that one right over there. Now I think I'm going to move. I really would like another red. I need to put the yellow in here. But I could turn that white so it's kind of up there on the white space and it's not going to show very much. So I need another red. Let's pull the sheet of paper back out and get us one more red. And I think I can do that right there on that corner. So that puts us in our pattern here. And if you notice on the sketch, there's something different right there. A little bit something different to just kind of create some visual interest. And for this particular layout, because of this, I thought that our fireworks punch would be a good option. It kind of mimics this design, a little bit bigger than what we've got going on. But what color do we do it in? We've got so many colors going on. So as I'm thinking about the colors I want to do this fireworks punch in, I'm just going to stick these down real quickly. It doesn't take a lot of tape on these, particularly if you use page protectors. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time taping these down. Now, as I'm thinking about colors, I could go with one of the colors I have on the page already. My biggest problem with that is which one to use, and will it really show up a lot because there's already so much color on this page. I think I've told you before that you can almost never go wrong with black or white. The problem is, if I go with white, I've already got a lot of white on the page, and I don't feel like that's going to show up well. So I'm going to try doing a black firework. Whoop, that one's going over one. I'm going to try doing the black just to see what it looks like, because I think it'll be a really nice standout contrast to these bright colors we got going on. I hope these are somewhat straight here. This would be a good opportunity to put your zero centering ruler along there, but I'm not going to right now. Let me pull black and see what it looks like. This fireworks punch came out probably with a 4th of July celebration around that time, but boy, has it been so versatile. I've used it for a lot of different things. there's a black. Let me try silver. That feels like maybe it would be a little more festive. And maybe I'll do a couple of those together right there. This only shows one larger one, but I kind of like that. And I think I'm going to pop them off and do foam squares. The black does show up better up there. The silver shows up well down here. So let's grab some foam squares. Now some of you are probably already saying, oh, you should use the brighter colors. That's too dark. So I couldn't use the green really because there's too much there. Let's pull out my paper pack. And boy, do I hate to destroy a big piece of paper for a maybe. And you know, I just don't think I can do it. I would like to, but I just can't take a whole sheet of paper just to do a couple of embellishments right there. So I think I'm going to stick with this black and silver. We'll pop those up just a little bit with some of these foam squares to make them stand out a little bit more. And if I go up with the black, that really shows up well against that top area right there. Go down with my silver. To me, that does give me a New Year's kind of feel. And then let's look at our sketch one more time because we've got another one of those here and another little cluster down here. So I think I'm going to go ahead with another black. So if we do a black there and then another one down here. Maybe I'll do a black and silver together there. I do have a bad one right there. I could stick it off the edge a little bit and go that way and then do a couple more down here. Yeah, I think I like that. I'm just going to go right to the edge with where I cut that one off. And I'm not sure if it makes a ton of difference putting these on foam squares or not. I just feel like it helps them not to be stuck right against the design on the papers. And you know I love foam squares anyway, so any excuse to use them is good with me. And I am going to create a little bit more down here because I'm going to add at least one word down here. And because this is starting my new album for 2024, I think I like this Everyday Life. It does pull in my green there. And I'm going to use that overlapping these two pops here. And I think I'm going to add this Picture Perfect up here too. Just because I like that. I like the way it looks. And this will be a great start for my New Year album. And I can make some of these overlap my words just a touch. So we've got Everyday Life. And then we've got Picture Perfect. And that does make my design sort of heavy on the right-hand side of the page. But with this being the first page of the album, it's going to be attached here. So I don't mind it being heavy towards the outside edge of the page. Typically, I would try to offset those designs a little bit more. But I'm good with this because of where it's going in that album. I'm going to slide that right there. And just lay it along the bottom of those circles. All right, so we got the page done. Now let's pull out our pictures and see where we want to go with the pictures. So let's pull our pictures and then we'll make our final steps for this page. And I did something I don't do very often, but I printed these as 5x7 pictures because I knew I only wanted 2 pictures on this title page. And this one, the colors are a little bit different than what I have here, but I'm okay with that. And in this one, we had on our little party hat. So I wanted to use that because that's how we started the new year. Now, you'll see in the original example, it's 3 4x6s across the middle. And when I did my Christmas page, I did 3 4x6 sizes, but then I cut them down just a little bit to allow a little bit of extra to show. So these are printed as 5x7s, but I'm going to cut a little off the top here and then even this one up to match that. And I'm going to pull my trimmer and take this off right at the top of those party hats. And then maybe even take a little bit of the side off here just to crop it in really closely. I don't really need any extra space per se. I mean, it's the new year, so it's okay. And what I'm looking at now is I want this one to be the same height as this one. And I've cut this just a touch over 4. I'm going to cut it down just a little bit more to make it a 4-inch. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut this one down to make it 4 inches high as well. And I'm going to have to kind of play back and forth because I want to kind of center up that 2024. There, I like that. Now, what I'm running into is that these are a little too wide to put side by side and to have any space in between. So I'm going to go back in and even trim this 2024 up a little bit closer, just so I've got a little bit of space going on there. And I like that look better. I am going to trim it a little bit more on my aunt's head here. And I remember telling y'all once upon a time that I have found that it never looks worse when you mat. So I think I may pull some white here and just do a thin, thin, thin mat behind these pictures just to make them pop a little bit more. I just think this is going to give us a little bit more brightness on these pictures even. It'll make them stand out a little bit more, and it'll pull them away from the background just a touch to give us some separation. Now, I did print these pictures at home on my Epson PM400, so that's why I could do the 5x7 size and get this square meme in the middle of that. That was actually something I pulled from the internet just because I like something like that to start the new year with. I'm going to trim this up off of there. And I'm leaving just a tiny, tiny little border. And then I'm going to put that back in this trimmer to finish it up. Do you go back and forth between your trimmers? If you notice, I tend to use this one as much as possible for my photos. Now, this one is an older one. I typically use my white and gray one. That's a newer one. But I found this stashed away and moved it to my little production area because I felt like that would be easier than trying to move everything back and forth all the time. And remember, this is going to be a title page, so I want my eye drawn this way. So I think I'm going to put that 2024 on that side. And all we've got to do is take these two pictures down. This really doesn't need explanation because this is kind of the same group of people we spend every New Year with. This is my mom and my dad and my aunt. And the next page will have a picture of our food and us watching the football games and all that kind of stuff. So I really don't want to put a lot of detail on this particular page. This I just want to be my title. And there we are. So this is page 24. How fitting for 2024 to be page 24 in our sketchbook. But that's what it looks like completely finished. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you'll stick with us as we go on through 2024, looking at our sketchbook, making new pages, trying new ideas. You never know what you'll see on here, so come back next time for more. And until then, happy scrapping.